Do you know much about Epicurus? You've given me such good tips. I feel that this kind of conversation, I owe you a few good ones.
Tell me about Epicurus. I know a bit about him. I think he also gets a bad rap.
Yeah, he gets a very bad rap because Epicurus did not believe in life after death. Part of the Epicurean philosophy is he talks a lot about it in a beautiful way. He says, where there's life, when death comes, you don't exist.
Yes.
The Catholics had their biggest business was the paying of, what do you call them?
Indulgences.
What is that called? Indulgences. Yeah. So the Catholics basically wanted to bury Epicurus, whose philosophy was much different than people. People think Epicureanism is to be fat and just go to feasts and eat. That's not at all what he was about. But anything of Epicurus, or even a Roman poem that was about Epicurus, was banned and disappeared. And it only turned up in the 14th century in some monk's library for the reason you said, is because just like people used to have to recite it over and over again, they used to have to just copy the text down over and over again to practice. There's a wonderful book that I recommend to you that you'll thank me a million times. It's a good read. It's called The Swerve. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes. An incredible book.
Oh, you read it?
Yes. Stephen Greenblatt is a treasure.
Yeah, he wrote. He's a Shakespearean scholar, but he wrote The Swerve, and it was an eye opener for me. I then became an Epicurean because so much of what's in the Epicurus philosophy has nothing to do with. In fact, he famously said, "If I had a glass of water and a biscuit, I would be eating as well as Zeus."
Yes.
So fortunately, Thomas Jefferson was an Epicurean, and that whole idea of the pursuit of happiness that appears nowhere else on earth except the American whatever, written by Jefferson, is right out of Epicurus. So I don't have to give you a tip because you already know.
No, and I'm so excited having read The Swerve. I don't know if you've been following this, but in Pompeii, some of the things that were frozen in the ash were libraries,
right?
And they're starting to be able to uncode some of these scrolls with these cameras and with AI, and they think they may have a whole Epicurean library there that they've just discovered the first.
What a treasure!
Oh,
what a treasure that would be! My goodness.
Yeah, there could be we could have totally missed what Epicurus was actually about. We don't really have that much from him, but I'll tell you
But we have that poem. What's the Roman poem? De Natura.
Lucretius. Yeah, on the nature of things.
Yeah, we have that. That's what The Swerve was about. They found that poem, and that poet was the inspiration of Dante and all the great Roman writers.
I have a quote from Epicurus that I think you would love because it goes to what you were just saying. I ended one of my books with it. This is the last letter he wrote. He said, "On this happy day, which is the last day of my life, I write the following words to you." Just like to me, like Cicero would say that, to philosophize is to learn how to die. Epicurus seems to have done it very well. So we see him as this guy who's trying to avoid pain and love pleasure, but his brilliance was really his ability to find pleasure in ordinary, even painful situations.
Yes. No, I don't consider myself a Stoic, but I consider myself an Epicurean. But I'm a Stoic too, because, basically what I know, and what I don't know, I ignore.
The Roman poet Juvenal said that between the Stoics and the Epicureans, there was only a shirt. Like one of them wore a shirt and the other lived a slightly harder life. But they were actually much more similar than we think.
I agree. Yeah, I certainly think so.